comes Chanel. Woohoo, look at her. Hey, Dusty Sharp.
Hey, hey. Hi, everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
Gosh, it seems like it's been forever since we've talked to you. We are here in the beautiful San Bernardino Mountains at a spot we like to call the helicopter pad. I'll show you. It's just kind of a spur on the mountains here. But we are on our way to Big Bear to do a little bit of trail running and ahead of the Big Bear Bronco Bash. So, but we wanted to catch up with you and show you how Chanel's doing. It's been a while since most of you have seen her, and she's gone through quite a few changes. So what was the first thing we did?
Oh gosh.
Since the last time they saw it.
Since the last time we were at Bronco Bash.
Last year, almost a year ago.
Very quickly in the shop, like one of those last minute fixes, we put some vinyl on her to look like my Bronco, Coco. And so we'll post up a picture of what she looked like at the Bronco Bash.
So quick story about that.
They were twinsies.
Quick story about that. Years ago when I was building Coco, I had a different vision for what it would look like when it was done. But Stephanie kind of took Coco over as her own, and she fell in love with the colors, and she wouldn't let me paint it or do any finish work or body work on it. It's made out of 9 different Broncos, so there's a lot of different colored body panels on it, and it's very endearing to her. So a few years ago, when we first started hearing about the 6G Broncos coming out, before anybody saw them, you might remember, if you were following the leaks, there were some guys that were making renderings based on just the clues that we had from the from the teaser shots they were giving us. And the first time we had one that was a pretty complete picture of what the new Bronco was going to look like, I took and made a Photoshop rendering of it using Coco's colors. And I'll stick that on the screen right now. And I showed it to Steffi, and I think I posted on Facebook. Everybody was posting their favorite colors, and I posted that one and said, this one's Steffi's favorite, just as a joke. And
we said we have to do it.
She didn't take it as a joke. So
no.
So last year, before Bronco Bash, we got some vinyl. We painted the grill orange and
did the windshield frame, and we did the doors yellow,
and it was a hit. The two of them together, they were a hit. Everybody loved seeing them together, and we really enjoyed it. The problem was, afterward, this is my daily driver, so afterward, when I'm driving around in it all the time, it doesn't really make sense unless it's sitting next to Coco. So if it's just by itself, people wonder what the hell.
Well, and people were like, you got a brand new Bronco, did you wreck it already?
Yeah.
Why are the doors yellow?
Yeah, as if I'd gone to the junkyard and gotten some yellow doors for it. So anyways, it was only going to be temporary anyways, and I had a vision in mind for its livery, which is ended up what you see here. And this was actually the livery that I had originally chosen for Coco. I always wanted to do that. I always loved having sort of a off-road muscle car feel to it. So this is this is based on a Shelby GT350, 67, 68. So I've tried to mimic that color scheme. So we've done that and a bunch of other exterior mods to it. And we'll go over them. We'll show you everything we've done. Okay, so as you see, we've completely transformed the exterior of Chanel. And probably the biggest changes you can see is we've got a completely different body kit on it. Most of the body panels are different than what it came with stock. The fenders, these are from ADV Fiberglass, Advanced Fiberglass Concepts. I have the front and the rear, and these are in a 5-inch flare. And I waited patiently for these because I thought they would be perfect. If you look at Coco, we do have some pre-runner fenders on Coco, so a little bit of a bulge on it. And I wanted that look for Chanel. I think it really kind of plays well to the kind of muscle car, off-road muscle car look. So I really love these, how they flare out. The fit and finish on these is just impeccable. Now they are a fiberglass part that you have to get finished by a body shop unless you can do body work yourself. They come in, they're white gel coat when they come, but I had them on here briefly before it was painted, and the gel coat doesn't quite match the Oxford white. So I had them painted and to match, and I think they look just bitchin'. So they're probably not for everybody. I understand that. The tire width we have here, this is a 35 1250 width with a 0mm offset wheel. So it's sitting out a little bit wider than, say, a Sasquatch. So I think this, actually the profile of it is just perfect with that wheel and tire combo and these flares. So Advanced Fiberglass Concepts, check them out if you're interested in them. I like how they're kind of a little bit more squared off on the top, the way a Bronco should be, the way the early Bronco is done. And I think they just did an awesome job with this. They also make them in a narrower and also a wider if you're doing like a long travel kit. So, but for Chanel, these just were perfect. The other thing we did from Advanced Fiberglass Concepts, we also got their I guess they call it a ram air hood. It's not functional. I suppose you could probably cut it out inside there. More or less just for looks. I love it because it sort of looks a little bit like what we have on Coco over there. Coco's got a ram induction hood from Wild Horses. And I talked to Jim, my buddy over there, and he said that they're coming out with one for these Broncos at some point, and maybe I'll switch at that point. I don't know. I just love this one though. Advanced Fiberglass Concepts, they really nailed it, I think. Kind of a retro muscle car look for the new Bronco. And then of course the halo doors. So these doors, when we first started seeing the on the Bronco reveal, when Ford did their webcast to show us the new Bronco, a couple of the Broncos in their video had doors very similar to this on them, and they sort of hinted that those would be available as an aftermarket product, and I loved it. I fell in love with that two-door. It was a yellow one that had these doors, and I thought, with the top off, that is just a bitchin' look. Well, they didn't come out with them for whatever reason, so I patiently waited for the aftermarket to do something similar. And these are from Anderson Composites here in Southern California. And I saw these last year when they debuted them at Fabulous Fords Forever that we were at. That was our first thing that we took Chanel to. It still was on the small tires. But they had these doors, and I was checking them out, and they're not exactly like the ones that Ford had. And we put them on just in time for this year's Fabulous Fords Forever show. I had fallen in love with them, and I just thought that they would go perfect with this build, with this off-road muscle car, topless beach type look. I think it's bitchin'. Now these are a little polarizing. The most common question you get when people see pictures of it is why? What's it for? Well, there's really no functional value to it as far as, I can't tell you it makes it go faster. I can't tell you anything about it other than I love the way it looks. I do like an open top feel. I like, we ran with the doors off for years on Coco. I'm not quite a big fan of running doors off on this one, and I don't like tube doors. I've never liked the look of tube doors. So this is actually, for me, it's a perfect blend. It continues the body lines. It looks more or less like it belongs there from the factory. So one really cool thing about these is they have both sides. There's a latch here. You actually, well, I just demonstrated, I'll show it again. You reach right in. So Anderson provides this really nice latch. There's weather stripping. Interior is not just a cutout, it's it's hollow, but it's solid surface. And it's got a nice good clunk. It shuts like a door should shut. Now you'll see I need to do a little bit better aligning on here. That's just a matter of adjusting the hinges. When I first put it on, I didn't take much time with that, and I still need to do that. So, but I think they're a really good fit with this build. Now, one thing that I'm a little disappointed with them is they do not come with the extra hinge on the door side. I had to actually buy an extra set of hinges from Ford, and they don't sell just the door side half, so you got to buy them both, and they're fairly expensive. It would be nice if Anderson would include those. They could probably have just the door side made quite a bit cheaper than having to buy the entire hinge from Ford. Now, if you were running these permanently, you could just use the hinges off of your factory doors. But I'll be switching them back and forth, and I didn't want to. It's a pain in the ass to unbolt the hinge half from this door, move it to the other door every time. So this way, I can just pull it off. So you guys have all taken your doors off. You know how easy that is. I can just pull these off, put the stock doors back on. So another thing we did, obviously, as you can see, we did vinyl striping. And as I said, I kind of modeled this after the 60s Shelby Mustangs with the racing stripes on the hood, and then also the rocker stripes. So usually on the Mustangs, they'll say whatever the Shelby model is down here, like GT350 or GT500. We just sort of made our own little thing. Just called it Chanel. People have asked where I got those. I actually designed them myself in Illustrator. It was simple to do. I just took the measurements. I had to buy the vinyl online, and then I had a local sign shop do the die cutting for me. The last piece in this sort of color scheme and off-road muscle car type of theme was the top. Of course, I think these halo doors really only look good with the hard top off. I've seen people run them with the top on, and to me that doesn't make sense. But when you're running topless, they're perfect. But when you're running topless, you do need some shade. So I did a lot of research online. There's a lot of information on, let me turn the radio down here a little bit. There's a lot of info online. A lot of companies are making these mesh style Bimini tops. This one is from Jtops USA, and I went with them because they have the best fitting top that's not going to flutter in the wind. And I've found that that's the case with this one. You can see how toward the front, it comes all the way to the front. There's not a gap there for air to get under and cause some lift under the top. And the other thing I really loved about it is that I could get a custom color. So they had one in white, and they do custom prints. I said, well, why not continue the racing stripes? So I had to, you know, I sent them the file for that. They printed it up for me, and I put it on, and it's just the perfect sort of way to cap off this look. So, so Jtops USA, really good product. I recommend it. As I've said, this is my daily driver, and Stephanie, she's always liked it too. She likes Chanel, but
my baby's Coco though.
Since we did these mods, I have to fight her for it all the time. She loves it. So I have a longer commute. She just works a couple miles away at the high school. She's driven it a couple times. And what do you think about all this?
My favorite part are these doors. When we first put them on, we were down at the beach, and it's a perfect beach cruiser. The only thing is, ladies, when you are in this Bronco, I mean, you totally have some Bronco hair, don't care, because the air is really coming in and blowing in here. So if you happen to wear, just a word to the wise here, if you happen to wear a dress, you're going to be pulling a Maryland all the time, because your dress will come up over the top of your head. You know, that's probably a good thing for the guys. But
No complaints here.
no.
But you could just tuck it in the sides.
Yeah, I
kinda.
totally tucked it, and put it in, but you know, in warm weather, they're awesome. What complements this Bronco are the stripes, and Dusty and I have a love for that because we put it on ourselves. We are not vinyl experts, professionals, but I think it turned out really nice. I didn't even have to peel it a couple times and put it back down. We just He had it laid out nice, and then I did all the grunt work putting it on.
Steffi is my vinyl applicator lady.
Yeah, so, I'm learning.
She's got more patience than I do, and she does a great job. She's very meticulous. So as far as this look goes, obviously when the weather turns, I'll be putting the hardtop back on. I did add an extra set of stripes, rocker stripes, on the factory doors, so they'll still be there. There's a couple more sort of cosmetic things that we're going to do to it to kind of continue with this sort of racy off-road theme, off-road muscle car theme, but we'll save those for a later time.
Yeah.
But for now, we got to get up to Big Bear. We got some trails to run.
And some lunch to eat, because I'm hangry right now.
So we just wanted to check in with you guys. We know it's been a while since we've shown you anything. Chanel has had a few changes. We wanted to show you those. We've been wheeling a lot, so even though you haven't seen much from us, doesn't mean we haven't been doing anything. We have been doing a ton of stuff.
We love this Bronco. It is amazing. Yeah. It's badass. It's been out to Utah a couple times.
Yeah, we've been all over the western United States in it, and we've even taken Coco to Utah. And we've got more coming, and we'll try to be more diligent about bringing the cameras along when we're out four-wheeling. So you should be seeing more of that stuff soon. We'll do another video on the new stuff that's on Chanel that has to do with drivetrain and suspension and all that stuff, which we didn't touch on here. So we'll try to get to that in the next week or two. Until then,
enjoy your day, like and subscribe.
Mash it.
Mash it, smash it. And thanks for joining us on our ride along and Horsin Around.
Yeah, and thanks for
we appreciate all your support.
Thanks for not forgetting about us. It's been, I think, almost a year or maybe more.
Oh gosh, it's been a long time, but we're still out there and we're still thinking about you guys. So thank you again.
All righty, signing off. We'll see you guys soon.
Be safe.
You know, they're not exactly like the ones that Ford had. All right, here, we'll cut that. So as I've said, this is my daily...
There's just bugs out here.
We'll restart.
No, that's funny stuff.
Maybe it'll go on the blooper reel.
All right.